Hey guys, Crypto here, and today we're going to talk about AELF. Now, this is a coin that I've been following for quite a while, since around it came out, and I'm really liking this coin. This coin is like the Chinese EOS pretty much. But anyway, let's get into it. So firstly guys, what are AELF actually trying to do? Well, essentially, they're trying to solve blockchain's biggest problems. As we can see here, current blockchains are not scalable, as the performance of one single node / mining machine determines the performance of the whole system. That's quite a bad thing, guys. Current blockchains do not segregate resources for different smart contracts, leading to interference among smart contract executions. And lastly, current blockchains do not have a predefined consensus protocol to adopt updates or new technology. This is just basically a government system. I know many coins do have it, but I think what they're trying to say is they're not that good. They're not that good. Anyway, these are the main features that AELF offers to try to solve these, these big blockchain problems. Firstly, AELF introduces the concept of main chain and multi-layer sidechains to handle various commercial scenarios. One chain is designed for one use case, distributing different tasks on multiple chains, and this basically just improves processing efficiency. To go into more detail, well, I'll go into more detail about that right now. As we can see here, we have the main chain, we have the side chains, and we have individual, side chains going from those side chains. This basically just reduces complexity and makes sure bloating is basically non-existent. Let's move on to the second feature. AELF enables communication with external blockchain systems via messaging, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum. As we can see here on this really simple diagram, like really simple, guys, yeah, AELF enables cross-chain communication through the use of sidechains. As we can see here, yep, you see this little sidechain branching off the main chain, sidechains off that. These can then go ahead and communicate with other blockchains such as Ethereum, Icon, EOS, this means that dApps on both chains can communicate with each other, they can do business. It's a pretty useful thing. Anyway, let's move on to the next feature. AELF permits parallel processing for non-competing transactions and cloud-based services. If you guys don't know, EOS is also trying to do the same thing. I also believe High Performance Blockchain is trying to do the same thing, but don't quote me on that. I haven't looked into High Performance Blockchain that much yet. But anyway, this is actually really cool, guys. Essentially, as we can see in chains such as Ethereum, they're using sequential processing, which is basically, they process one thing, move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. But AELF wants to process a bunch of things at the same time. This basically allows for a lot of scalability in transactions. We're talking about industrial-sized applications being able to run on AELF. Millions of transactions per second. Fourthly, guys, AELF defines basic components of minimal viable block and Genesis smart contract collections for each chain to reduce data complexity and achieve high customization. As we can see here, what they're trying to do is have one chain for every smart contract. Basically, each smart contract has its own chain, and this allows for a high amount of customization. As you can manipulate that chain, you can do anything you like to that chain with the smart contract to make it as efficient and as good as possible. Really good for developers, guys, and users once again. And yeah, lastly, for the last feature that AELF is offering, AELF permits stakeholders to approve amendments to the protocol, including redefining the consensus protocol. This permits sidechains to join or exit from the main chain dynamically based on consensus protocol, therefore introducing competition and incentive to improve each sidechain. Whoa, let's not end it right there. Firstly though, you guys know I like to check the economics of the coin, how much money can you possibly make from this coin? Right now it is 53rd place on CoinMarketCap with a market cap of 500 million. Guys, this is quite small, for a coin that is going to bring industrial-sized applications to blockchain. That's quite a low market cap. Oh, also guys, real quick, which I forgot to mention once again. You know, I like to forget stuff. Well, I don't like to, but it just kind of happens. This is their roadmap. As we can see here, they will launch. They will firstly, you know, in quarter 2018.02, which is around like quarter one. Yeah, that's part of quarter one. So quite soon, guys. They'll launch an ELF asset chain based on the UTXO model. So basically parallel processing stuff. Halfway through this year, they will release their actual OS. The ELF main chain based on the ELF OS will actually be launched in 2018.08 or 0.8 or however, you know. They'll introduce the government system into it, and you know, by 2019 pretty much ELF will be pretty much all done, you know. I'm pretty sure it will be usable at this point, as their ELF main chain will actually be launched, so you can probably build stuff on it. But this is their current, you know, like finish date. They'll be done in 2019, guys. So this coin, you know, it's coming out at around the same time EOS is, so a lot of competition there. Anyway, let's move back into the economics. As we can see here, 500 million market cap. Now, if this coin is competing with a coin like EOS, EOS currently has an 8 billion market cap. If this coin were to get to EOS's market cap, which, you know, it very well could, especially if it gets developed on, especially if it gets fully developed, you know, that is pretty much a times like 15, you know, guys. And I expect this coin to actually go much further than, you know, 8 billion market cap. I could see this as a 100x coin, guys. If this coin is fully developed, fully running, you know, 50 billion, guys. I can see this coin being worth 50 billion. Once again, though, not financial advice, just my opinion. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey yo, I'm focused on the passion, I ain't worried about the newest fits and sprinting in the action. You probably fuck up your Louis kicks, you imitator. A real phony like a simulator. Tell a man he whack about once, and yo, you been a hater. Society